Welcome to Somaliland Voice Network. China is quietly expanding its influence in Berbera, Somaliland. No announcements, no headlines, no official declarations, but behind the scenes, Beijing is paying very close attention to one thing: a small strategic port that sits near one of the most important trade routes on Earth. And then, in December 2025, everything shifted. Israel officially recognized Somaliland, instantly raising the stakes and turning Berbera into a global nook of competition. Now the question is no longer whether China is interested. The real question is, can China secure influence in Berbera before its rivals lock it out? China doesn't move randomly, especially when it comes to global trade. Its entire economic system depends on secure shipping routes, stable partners, and strategic access points. And one of the most critical routes in the world runs right past Berbera, through the Red Sea and into the Suez Canal. If anything disrupts that corridor, China feels it immediately. That's why locations like Berbera are not optional, they're essential. But here's the challenge: China is not the only one paying attention, and unlike in other regions, it didn't get there first. Berbera isn't just a port, it's a gateway to the world. Its location near the Bab al-Mandab Strait makes it a critical artery for global trade between Europe and Asia. Control over Berbera means leverage over this vital shipping lane. For Ethiopia, Berbera is the shortest route to the sea, making it indispensable for its economy. Ethiopia's 50-year port deal with Somaliland in 2024 cemented Berbera's regional importance. The port's value is also military. A base here allows for surveillance and protection of Red Sea shipping. With Houthi attacks disrupting trade, Berbera's stability is a rare asset. Foreign investment has modernized the port, increasing its appeal. Berbera is now a magnet for global powers, offering both commercial and military advantages. Its fate will be shaped by the ambitions of nations far beyond its shores. The UAE saw Berbera's potential early, recognizing its unique position on the Gulf of Aden and its untapped promise as a gateway to Africa. Investing heavily through DP World, the UAE set out to transform the port into a modern logistics hub, pouring in resources and expertise to upgrade its infrastructure and expand its capacity. This bold move secured the UAE a major economic and strategic foothold in the Horn of Africa, giving it access to vital shipping lanes and new markets. The UAE's growing presence also served as a buffer against regional rivals like Iran and Turkey, who were seeking influence in the same waters. Quietly, the UAE's deepening ties with Somaliland and Ethiopia laid the groundwork for a new regional alliance, one built on shared interests and mutual benefit. Israel's recognition of Somaliland in 2025 was the next step, giving it a strategic partner on the Red Sea and opening the door to new diplomatic and security opportunities. Israel quickly moved to discuss military and intelligence cooperation, aiming to counter threats from Iran and the Houthis, and to secure its interests along this critical maritime corridor. Together, the UAE and Israel became the first movers in the new scramble for Berbera, setting the pace for others to follow and shaping the region's future. The UAE brought investment and development, Israel brought political legitimacy and advanced security cooperation, creating a powerful partnership. Their partnership created a new center of power in the Horn of Africa, forcing other players, especially China, to respond and reconsider their own strategies in the region. The Berbera Axis was born, reshaping the region's balance of power and setting the stage for a new era of competition and cooperation along the Red Sea. The US and Europe watch Berbera with interest but tread carefully. Somaliland's stability and democracy are appealing, but Western governments stick to the one Somalia policy, wary of angering allies and encouraging separatism. This leaves them supporting Somaliland quietly, offering aid, but avoiding formal recognition. Meanwhile, the UAE and Israel are taking bold steps, outpacing the West. The growing Berbera Axis sidelines Western influence in a region critical for global trade. The West hopes to benefit from stability without paying the political price, but this passive approach lets others set the agenda. In the fast-moving Red Sea game, hesitation means losing ground. The US and Europe risk being left on the sidelines as new alliances take shape. China is deeply concerned about Berbera's rise, watching closely as the port transforms into a new regional hub. The growing influence of Berbera is not just a local story, It's a development with global consequences, especially for China's interests in Africa and beyond. China's economy depends on safe Red Sea shipping, and instability here threatens Chinese trade routes that carry billions of dollars worth of goods every year. The Red Sea is a lifeline for Chinese exports and imports, making any disruption a serious risk for Beijing's economic ambitions. China's military base in Djibouti once gave it dominance over this vital corridor, projecting power and securing its interests. But now, the emergence of the Berbera Axis is challenging that dominance, forcing China to rethink its strategy in the region. Somaliland's growing ties with Taiwan complicate things even further. China cannot engage openly with Somaliland without violating its strict One China policy, which forbids official relations with any government that recognizes Taiwan. Beijing publicly condemns Israel's recognition of Somaliland and its cooperation with Taiwan, but behind the scenes China acts quietly, preferring subtle influence over open confrontation. Instead of making bold moves in Berbera, China doubles down on investments in Djibouti and strengthens its ties with Somalia, Egypt, and Turkey. These relationships help China counterbalance Berbera's rise and maintain its influence in the region. China's strategy is indirect, using economic pressure, building regional alliances, and practicing strategic patience. It's a careful balancing act, designed to protect its interests without sparking unnecessary conflict. Moving too aggressively risks a diplomatic crisis with multiple countries. Moving too slowly risks losing influence to rivals. Every decision is weighed with caution. The Chinese dragon moves in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to act, always calculating its next step. China hopes to contain Berbera's rise without being forced into a costly political choice that could backfire on the world stage. It's a long game, played quietly but with high stakes, one that will shape the future of the Red Sea and China's role in Africa for years to come. Berbera has become the chessboard for a new great game, not for territory, but for influence. The UAE's investment and Ethiopia's port deal raised the stakes. The Berbera Axis, Somaliland, Israel, UAE, Ethiopia, seeks to secure the Red Sea corridor and promote Somaliland's independence. In response, the Mogadishu Axis, Somalia, Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, aims to defend Somalia's sovereignty and counter Berbera's rise. Turkey and Egypt have expanded military support for Somalia, while Saudi Arabia eyes its own naval presence. Each move triggers countermoves, militarizing the region. China, caught between its Taiwan policy and strategic interests, exerts influence from the sidelines. Berbera is now where global ambitions collide. The city's future is about more than trade. It's about power and alliances in the 21st century. The outcome will shape the region for decades. For Somaliland, global attention is both a triumph and a test. Recognition and investment promise economic growth and legitimacy. Projects like the Berbera corridor are transforming the country, but with opportunity comes pressure. Somaliland is now a key player in a global power struggle. Aligning with Israel and the UAE brings powerful friends and enemies. Somalia, Turkey, and Egypt are determined to block Somaliland's independence. Terrorist threats and regional rivalries raise new security risks. Somaliland must balance foreign interests without losing its hard-won autonomy. The challenge: use this moment to secure a sustainable future, not become a pawn. Somaliland stands at a crossroads. Its next moves will define its destiny. What happens in Berbera will echo far beyond the Horn of Africa. The city is now a microcosm of global power shifts, where trade and strategy intersect. If the Berbera Axis succeeds, it could set a new model for development and recognition. If blocked, it reinforces the sanctity of existing borders. Somaliland's fate is a test case for self-determination worldwide. Berbera's story shows how local issues can become global flashpoints. The city's future is tied to global trade, security, and the ambitions of distant powers. Berbera will help redraw the map of global power and commerce.